And this guy, he was what was called a cutter. And the cutters are professional dismemberers. So if you're looking for a new career, you can work for a drug gang in London as a cutter.
Do you feel, I mean, when you take all this stuff, this kind of stuff into court and you come up against one of these smarmy lawyers?
Oh, been there. Anybody ever been up against Donald Finlay?
I mean, that must drive you. Is he in the audience tonight? No, he's not. Right?
I know Donald well.
No, I mean, honestly, it's because you can have all the fantastic science and everything, and you've done everything, and you're ready to go, and you get into that courtroom, and a lawyer can act. They're great actors, and they can persuade a jury that don't listen to that la 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 la. Listen to me.
That's really frustrating. It's really hard, and you've got to bear in mind that when you go into court, the first bit that you do in court is the person who's usually on your side, because we're usually there for the Crown. So the first bit of the day is easy. The cross-examination comes when you've already been standing for 5 hours and you're tired and you just want to go home. And that's when you've got the defence lawyer usually, although we do defence work as well. And it's very, very difficult to keep that coolness, that detachment, that unbiased scientific approach that you need to have all the way through the day when you've been standing solidly almost for 7 hours and the tough bits coming right at the end. And it isn't, you can't take it personally, although it's really hard not to, but you can't, it's what they're doing. And I can remember a case that we did. It was a lady who went missing in Helensburgh, and we found just a tiny bit of her skull inside the filter of a washing machine. Long story. And Donald Finlay was the defence lawyer. And so, you know, I've done my bit to the Crown, I'm feeling fine. And Donald, of course, with big mutton sideburns, sort of leans underneath the desk and he pulls out, great drama, drops the new edition of Grey's Anatomy on the table in front of me. And he says, "Now, Professor, I don't doubt you for a moment." And you know exactly what's coming. And he says, "I'm sure you know this book better than I do." I'd never seen that edition of Grey's Anatomy. But whilst there is showmanship, he spent the next 4 hours cross-examining me on how that bone forms, what it's like in the child, what it's like in the adult, how it fractures. So whilst there is a tremendous amount of acting, there's a huge amount of skill in the defence lawyer and in the prosecution lawyer as well. And so for us, it's really challenging when you're in that courtroom, because you're not just dealing with someone who's acting, you are dealing with someone who's done their research as well.
Yeah, but you just want to jump up and say, "Look, it was in the bloody washing machine."
Yes, exactly, and it's hers. Yeah.
You know.
What does it matter?
But none of this matters.
Well,
Donald.
I had a dismemberment case.
Yeah, are we okay with this?
Down south, and you try really hard to be this professional in court, and you try to be very sensible about it. And this guy, he was what was called a cutter. And the cutters are professional dismemberers. So if you're looking for a new career, you can work for a drug gang in London as a cutter. And your job is that when they've tortured somebody, they've murdered them, it comes around the back of the nightclub, and his job is to dismember. And so the dismemberment was done with a most incredible skill. What he didn't do was he didn't do the second part of the process terribly well, which was the dumping. And you had to pay £2,000 to the dumper to get rid of the bits. So he thought he'd save money. So he did a great job on the cutting, but did a lousy bit in the dumping because the body was found 2 days later. And when I was in court, they said, you know, wouldn't you need terribly sharp knives to do this? And I went, well, no, as long as you know what you're doing, you don't. Yes, but these aren't the kind of knives that you'd find in a kitchen. I said, well, yeah, you'd find them in my kitchen. And the lawyer went, oh, I'm not coming round to yours for dinner. And you think, should I laugh? Should I not laugh? I'm in court. I can't do that. And sometimes they do catch you completely off guard. And I think that's part of the act as well. So it can be a funny place, courtroom.
I remember when you know, having had my nasty run-in with the police with my first attempt at research, a few years later a cop did come up to sign in and he said, "Oh, you make a few mistakes in your book, saying procedural mistakes." And I said, "Oh, I can't go near you guys, you know, otherwise I might become a murder suspect again." And he became a friend, still is, and he helped me a lot. He would introduce me to people, show me case notes and such like, explain how things worked. And then I needed a pathologist. I needed to ask a few questions about drowning for a book. He said, "Oh, talk to Tony Busital at the university." And I got an appointment, and I turned up, and his secretary said, oh, he's teaching, but he'll be here in a wee bit, just go and sit in his office. And I went and sat, and there was just a big A4 brown envelope on the desk, and I sort of sat. And eventually Tony comes bustling in, and all my questions went out my head, because he's about yay high.
Yeah.
And Danny DeVito, dead ringer, right? And I'm just thinking, how does he reach the slab?
He has a box.
He has a box, I know that he has a box. So he comes bustling around and he said, I'm sorry to keep you. So you can see from the photographs that the head's been severed almost completely from the body. You can see it's probably a serrated knife, you can see. And he looked at me and he went, oh, sorry, you're not Detective Sergeant Brown? I went, no. I said, oh, sorry, Bob. Sorry. All the stuff went back in the drawer again. And that was my introduction to kind of, pathology 101. And but he was great. He said, do you want to come and see the mortuary? And he took me around the mortuary and stuff. Do you want to see a post-mortem examination? I said, no, not really.
Did you?
No, I didn't. I didn't. I mean, it was enough for me to see where it happens.
Okay.
Seeing where it happens and watching Silence of the Lambs, I was fine. I had a few textbooks and textbooks you go kind of, right, okay, that's what happens. But if I had a question, he was always brilliant. I mean, a specific one like drowning, how do you know if somebody's been dead when you go in the water or not? I mean, these days a lot of folk know that kind of stuff, but I didn't know it at the time. And I think the internet must have still been in its infancy. I think these days there's a kind of lazy tendency to think I can just go to Wikipedia or I can Google it and I'll have an absolutely concrete answer. And that's a dangerous way to do research.
You've got to bear in mind as well that what the Defence Counsel do is they Google you. So if you're an expert witness, they will Google you to find out what you did last, or if there's anything out there on Facebook, which I don't do for a very good reason, that, is there a photograph of you blind blazing drunk on the sidewalk or whatever it may be. And you've got to bear in mind, they will check you out. Whereas that could never have happened before. Now you're in the scrutiny in the courtroom that says, oh, you didn't do so well in your last case, did you? I think, really? Wow, that's scary.